There is something interesting happening to the Singapore home. The buildings are getting taller, the architecture is getting smarter, facilities are getting more elaborate. And yet, inside many new developments, buyers sometimes feel that the home itself is getting smaller. A bedroom that once comfortably fit a queen-size bed, two side tables, and a wardrobe may now require considerably more careful planning. Dining spaces merge with living rooms, kitchens become more compact, and every square foot seems to work harder than before. At the same time, the price of that square foot has become increasingly valuable. Singapore's private residential property price index rose another 0.5% in the second quarter of 2026, bringing the increase for the first half of 2026 to 1.4%. And this comes after years of substantial increases in private home values. So here's the puzzle. Are Singapore homes becoming smaller because housing has become less affordable? In this video series regarding the Singapore housing dilemma, let's dive into different factors such as new perspective about per square foot pricing, how small is too small, older condo dilemma, the immigration paradox, shrinking population. What if Singapore actually needs smaller homes, developers' dilemma, and many more. So please check out my other videos in this series too. Now, property buyers love talking about price per square foot. $2,000 per square foot, $2,200, $2,500, but most families don't borrow money based on price per square foot. They borrow money based on the total price of the property. And that distinction is extremely important. Imagine land, construction, and other development costs push the viable selling price of a project to around $3,000 per square foot. A 1,000 square foot home would cost around $3 million. Reduce that home to 750 square feet and the same $3,000 per square foot price produces a $2.25 million purchase price. The PSF hasn't become cheaper, but the entry ticket has. And from a developer's perspective, this creates a powerful economic incentive. When land and construction costs are high, there are essentially several ways to protect the viability of a project. Charge more, or accept lower margins, or change the product, or reduce the average size of the homes so that the absolute selling price, the quantum, remains within the reach of a larger pool of buyers. That doesn't mean every developer deliberately makes homes smaller simply because land is expensive, but economically, unit size becomes one of the few variables developers can control. Construction conditions matter as well. Singapore's Building and Construction Authority reported preliminary construction demand of $50.5 billion in 2025, and projects construction output of $43 billion to $46 billion in 2026, reflecting a built environment sector operating at historically high levels of activity. So perhaps the strange reality of modern housing is this: a smaller apartment can carry a higher PSF while still being easier to sell than a larger apartment at a lower PSF. Affordability, therefore, isn't simply about price per square foot. It's about the check you ultimately have to write.